Grand Rising Loves. This is the altar spread for the collective consciousness today. And it's powerful. And it really is the energy that we're moving through. We're coming on the tail end of this full moon cycle, which is 2 weeks through the waning. And that's all about release and healing. And I myself have even been digging into some deep, shadowy, ugly stuff, some rage, just some really old stuff, working through some old beliefs too about creating boundaries and believing in my deepest belief that that is inflicting pain on someone just because I was in pain, when that's bullshit. So it's okay to wield the sword of Kali and to cut ties and to say this is fucking permanent. And that is love. It's not only self-love, but then you create the freedom for them to actually be held accountable so that they can heal the shit that they are doing as well. So that was deep realizations for me, and I'm grateful for that. And so if you're feeling that kind of chaotic anger or grit just grinding on you, know that this is refining you, not defining you. And the human experience can be so humbling. But if you allow and give yourself permission to feel all the feels, that's the most important part. I was resistant to expressing rage outside of myself. So I was harming myself and not harnessing that for the real transformation. So there's that. And like I said, no one will call themselves out better than me. So just watch and hopefully it inspires you. Okay, so the medicine wheel is what showed up for sacred geometry today. And it showed up in the reverse. Now, when it's upright, you see it's a beautiful mandala, really. Mandala is anything that's circular and all-encompassing. And the medicine wheel, which I work with quite often actually, is usually set into 4 quadrants, and it calls in all the 4 directions, north, south, east, west, but the energies of those directions as well. I work with the 4 main archangels as guardians to those quadrants, and also the elemental energies. But some people use animals, some people use race. Well, some indigenous tribes use it as races. That's why you see the black, blue, yellow, and red. So the colors actually represent the races on the earth plane. I, however, do not do that. I use the elements and the archangels and the energy of the directions, the energy of rebirth, the energy of fortitude and healing. Those are the energies that I work with in my medicine wheel. And so in the reverse, it's saying you are disconnected from all that is. So when that happens, really the disconnect is returning to duality, right? Which is the programming. The programming really was put into place because of greed. It was a corruption because there was a belief of something being more perfect. And so they created this hierarchy, and then the system, the entire of consciousness became corrupt. And in that corruption, we have a huge energetic of fear, a huge wave of lack, the energy of lacking. And then you go in and say, this is separate from me. This is painful. This is separate from me. Instead of saying, oh no, it's all me. Everything that's showing up in my reality is still me. And I can't reject those parts of myself. So even the mineral, animal, elemental kingdoms, plants, it's all you. And so you have to feel into those energies and get reconnected. So really the best way is to turn off the TV and get off your ass. And everybody's on lockdown. Get the stink blown off of you. Get outside. Feel the wind in your hair. Let the sun kiss your skin. And just put your feet in some dirt and feel that it is you. Feel that it is you. Because medicine wheel, when we become disconnected from nature, our intuition becomes blocked. And because our human bodies are those elements, we are made of nature. Even though we are truly this pure vibrational love energy, we're having the human experience. And you got to be in it. I mean, like really in it. Like the meme says, I'm really in this shit. Yeah, you are in this shit and you chose it. So you cannot reject anything that's outside of you as part of you. And so reconnecting will also start to fine tune your intuition and help you. And so many paths showed up. And I love that card because that talks about the infinite possibilities, right? And so even though you planned your human experience before you were birthed into it, every path leads to transcendence. So whether it's slow moving or you've paused on the path for a minute and so many paths will cross, it's literally impossible to regress. You don't lose when you're evolving. It's a constant motion. It's always in motion, and there are many, many paths. But whatever you do, it will always be right. And if you are out of integrity and you make that decision based on ego, then that's like kind of going off road, but it's still a path, right? And it'll refine you, and it will be more intense, and you'll feel like you're being put through the tumbler for sure until you right your actions. And that's when the path becomes a little more smooth, but it's still not free of obstacles or lessons. I mean, that's the point of the human experience. So that's the many paths. I love the beat of this song. I'm over here dancing while I'm trying to talk. Okay, so turquoise has shown up many times. I love turquoise. It's a storm stone. This means that it stimulates all chakras. Now, turquoise is all about wholeness, integrating every part of yourself, so not rejecting any part of yourself, which really is the same message of the medicine wheel in reverse. You can't reject any part of yourself because things are going to become discombobulated. It's going to take you out of harmony and feel really, really intensely unpleasant. So when you start integrating that wholeness, things become easier, especially when you start to recognize like, okay, I chose this and this is me. Okay, so now it shows up. Instead of saying, this is happening to me, this is to me, you can say, okay, I chose this. Fuck this. How am I going to correct this now? What's the lesson so I can move on quick. Knock it out. So this is turquoise. This is a beautiful chunk that I bought for my son, actually, as a gift when I went through Sedona. And this is actually an Arizona turquoise. And this size and this beautiful, like, depth of color is quite costly. And that's why you don't see a whole lot of turquoise. And when you see it in jewelry, it's really expensive. But this is beautiful. I love this piece. So I asked him, can I please just borrow it to put on the video? Because I'm always showing my other little pieces. And he was very generous to let me do that. But I just love facets of minerals and the personality of minerals. And turquoise is very powerful, but it's very earthy. I love those stones that will help you blast off but keep you in your human, because the experience is very different than when you actually escape your body. Like in a delta state, meditation is very different than when you're actually anchored in your body having those experiences. So I'll let you see this really close up. So that's really becoming whole. Becoming whole is not saying, okay, I'm going to heal this dark part of myself so that I can remove it or destroy this demon that I have inside of me. And it's not literally a demon. We call them our demons because they're kind of like the monkey on our back, gnawing at our insides and festering in there when you ignore them. And they will manifest as physical ailments if you do not work on it, integrating them. And so like I had mentioned in the very beginning of the read, like mine was rage. I have this deep rage, and I love that I have I can count on one hand the conscious friends that I have that are on my level that actually help me chisel away at things. And Sunday, I was actually watching some recorded class that I missed the live, so I was doing it, and a beautiful conscious male friend of mine, Joe, he really is truly like a father figure for me, and he just texted me out of the blue, like really triggering text, and I was like, what the fuck? So of course, I can spar, and it's not intellectual gymnastics. Arguing is intellectual gymnastics. This whole like political shit and the masks and all of that, it's all fucking intellectual gymnastics. It's asinine. This is like real conscious triggering. And so I was ready to go at it. I was like, yeah, let's knock this shit out. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Of course I did. And so it was like off and on all day, literally until 11 p.m. when I finally relented and I said, okay, I get it. Ah! And it was literally like releasing the Kraken. So yeah, there was that. So Mama Kila showed up, Mandala of the Moon, and like I said, I love that this showed up because we are in the tail end of the waning cycle of the moon, releasing. Monday will be the official new moon. The new moon is all about manifesting, and that's what Mama Kila said. When you work on the things that are ailing you, or the things that are out of disharmony, there's not a whole lot that you want, but you will be given those things that you need. And I love that. It's the magic of manifesting, and it's the power of the moon to help you get into that. And that's why I always create a focus wheel every new moon, because I'm putting my intention out there and really working on those bits of myself that I do want to refine. And every time I level up, I am of greater service in the things that I am doing here for the consciousness. And I know that. So really, it's not for me, even though it's for me, it's for the greater me. Does that make sense? The bigger part of me, which is you. So that's the spread. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.